Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news. It's Mondays with Mallory with KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's John Mallory. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, here's Johnny Ballgame and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, good morning, Boise State fans. A happy Monday to you, the start of a new week here at Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com, all of our social media channels. We do this every weekday about 9 a.m. Time got screwed up a little bit because of media days last week, but 9 a.m. from here on out, pretty much every morning, Mountain Time. We'll talk sports with a variety of co-hosts. Happy to say that Jay Tust will make his triumphant return tomorrow to the airwaves of Bronco Nation News. So, Johnny, you're done having to do 3 days a week. We appreciate you for doing that, but it's a Monday. John Mallory is here, Johnny Ballgame, ready to go, and we got a lot to talk about today, man. How's it going?
Gosh, July 24th. I mean, I love that the month is, for me, speeding by, BJ, because that gets us to August, and August is almost kind of technically football season with fall camps beginning, but this summer's going by quick, and I'm ready to talk some football, some hoops, and get after it with you. God, I don't remember the last actual Monday I've been on my time slot. The summer's so crazy, There's 3-day weekends here or there, but happy to be with you. Let's get after it today, man. Good times last week in Vegas, and now we're recharged back in the Rowpaint.com studio here. I got the picture of Kellen Moore laying on a bed of roses behind me. I'm ready to go.
Everybody's ready to go in the chat as well. We got a lot of people saying, happy Monday. You got Jordan in here. Good morning, Bronco Nation. Logan Byler, good morning, all. Dayton Robinson, good morning. Everyone's in a good mood today. Dean Reimer, I believe is how you pronounce the last name. We got to meet Dean. You were down there, Johnny, at Media Days. Dean was kind of hanging out. He drove over from L.A., was able to get his picture taken with Andy Avalos and some others there at Media Days. I will say this. It was a great setup at Circa, Johnny, but there wasn't a whole lot of security. So Dean was able to sneak his way through, and we had fun chatting with him. So, Dean, thank you for your subscription as well. I helped him figure it out on his phone how to subscribe right while we were there. So we appreciate that, Dean. Joel says, nice to see everybody survived Las Vegas. Yes, we've made it. We're back. And, I guess we should touch on the shirt game. Rudy says, ball game, always bringing a strong T-shirt game. 40 years ago today, the Pine Tar incident, and you've got the shirt to commemorate it there.
They sold this at Kauffman Stadium, and everybody knows I'm a nerd with T-shirts. A buddy of mine went to a Royals game a couple of years ago, and he saw this at the gift shop. The Royals have capitalized. They monetized George Brett running out of the dugout to the umpire and, of course, the Billy Martin Yankees. And my buddy was like, I'm going to buy this for a ball game. And this is the only time I've worn it actually on July 24th. How cool is that, man? It's one of my good shirts. The Pine Tar incident. If you don't know, look it up. You'll probably see it all over the major national programs, because it is the 40th anniversary of George Brett steaming out of that dugout. I bet your dad, BJ, who's a longtime legendary sports writer and is in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame with George Brett, by the way. Yes. Your dad probably knows all about this incident, huh?
Oh yeah, he's talked to the umpire there, and when they had to redo the game, and then they had the whole issue because they had to go finish the game right a different time from that spot, and there was a whole deal there. So yeah, that's pretty cool. They actually made a shirt about it. So that's why people tune into the video portion of Bronco Nation News to see what T-shirt John Mallory is going to have to start your week off on a Monday. Perry's asking if we were even alive back then. You were.
Yeah, you were almost.
85.
In your mother's belly.
I was 85, so not quite there yet. But
you were almost conceived.
There you go, Nate. We can
talk about that.
No, George Brett was my favorite player as a kid. Nate Staley
390.
says,
Nate Staley, 1980, 390. George Brett hit. Anyway, let's talk Boise State, BJ.
Let's do it, man. We're back. We made it. We survived Vegas. We're going to talk basketball here in a little bit. We are exactly 1 week away, Johnny. Next Monday, when we do this segment, it will be game day for the Boise State men's basketball team. They have a game a week from today, next Monday, and we're going to talk about the Canada trip and preview that with your thoughts all week. We'll get our different show host thoughts on what they want to see, or at least hear if they're not actually watching from the Canadian trip next week. And we'll get Johnny's thoughts here in a little bit. We are going to hear from Jeff Tedford as well, the Fresno State coach. Jordan and I had a chance to catch up with him in the interview room for a couple of minutes talking about Talon Green and Boise State in general. And they're one of the few teams that's had a little success, Johnny, winning on the blue turf the last couple of years in the championship games and stuff. So we're going to talk to Jeff Tedford about that. But just to kind of want to put a bow on Media Days, we're back. It was a lot of fun, and already looking forward to fall camp. Again, a week from today also, Johnny, will be Andy Avalos's pre-fall camp media address. That will be Monday the 31st, so he'll talk a lot about the roster and some more in-depth stuff at that day. But overall, any now that you've had the weekend to simmer on it, think about it, any final takeaways, positives, negatives, anything from Media Days down in Vegas?
You know, there's a lot of takeaways, to be honest, BJ, and I hope that the fans, my listeners, your subscribers, everybody pays attention to Boise State football in the Mountain West, feels a little more intelligent around the league this year as far as who's coming back and the coaches and where people are ranking certain teams and how they feel about all that stuff. For me, though, the biggest takeaway, I think it was Andy Avalos. I think he is in a different mental mind frame, demeanor than he has been in the past. He's not as boarded up as I thought he had been in the past, and I'm looking forward to him going into year 3 to get this league back for Boise State. I think everything, the schedule, when and where they are playing these games, BJ, is in place for Boise State to win its first conference championship outright since 2019. To get back to the conference championship game, have that be played on the blue, win that game, and have the fans waiting, anticipating to figure out where they're going to be going for their bowl game. Will it be SoFi, or possibly could it be a New Year's 6 opportunity? It's been 10 long years since they've went, 2014, 9, I guess, 10, whatever. And I think they put themselves in a good position this year. That's kind of my ultimate takeaway. This, again, in my opinion, is Boise State's league this season. Now they have to go out. They have to do the work. They got to be blue collar about it. And they got to get this fan base excited for a big time bowl game again. And I think that could be I really think that could be on the plate this year, BJ. I do.
Yeah. I left feeling better about Boise State. I don't know if it was just hearing Andy talk about the defense or looking at around the league and just realizing that there's not a lot of other star power, not a lot of other just, teams that really scare you. But I felt leaving pretty good about Boise State. And I know we talked about it Friday from the sports book. Awesome setup there overlooking the sports book at Victory Burger at Circa Resort and Casino. And the plus 190 they are to win the league. And then you have to go all the way to plus 400 for, I think it was Fresno and Air Force. I mean, the book clearly thinks Boise State's by far and away the favorite. And but I just feel pretty good about Boise State. I mean, I still think, as we've all said, this first month's going to tell us a lot about the season. But even if they get off to a rough start, Johnny, I don't see too many Mountain West teams beating them this year, if any. So I think it's all going to come down to winning a home conference championship game, which they have struggled to do at times in previous years. So I don't know if it'll be against Fresno State again. I think we have the back-to-back against Air Force in play. I think San Diego State's a sleeper team. You do have Fresno. There's some other options, but I think this team, I think the defense was what everybody was worried about, or at least the bigger question mark than the offense. But Johnny, we had some time to talk to Andy during the interviews, a little extra time away from the microphone. It seems like he really does, as he said, he's bullish on this defense, man.
He likes the team, man, especially the D. And he feels like they like each other, which I think is a big element in college sports when the team gets along, when it's not about the ego. And Andy talked about that a lot. This is a low ego, high output team that Andy feels his staff believes that they have put together, kind of old school Boise State. No egos coming around here. And I think we'll probably see that. The question will be obviously is, how are they going to weather the storm that is the first 2 weeks of the season? Are they going to be 1-1, 2-0, maybe 0-2? And then where is the season going to go from there? Keeping the mind frame, keeping the focus that ultimately winning the Mountain West Conference is the first and foremost thing that this program wants to be able to do. I will tell you this, though. If something happens and they can pull off a win on September 2nd, I believe, in Seattle, or is it the 4th, BJ? I'm losing track.
Second, I believe.
If they can get that win September 2nd, they can really, light this thing on fire and have that fan base really excited. So, I think it's going to be a good season. Stay healthy. Can't wait for fall camp.
By the way, UCF, I just talked to Johnny Dawkins, the UCF basketball coach.
You did? He's still there, huh?
Yeah, he is. They're entering the Big 12, and I do the Lindy's Magazine stuff for the Big 12, so got a chance to catch up with Johnny Dawkins, and that was fun. I got Bill Self on the itinerary for later today as well. Wes Miller at Cincinnati is still to come, but I will say this, again, a week from today is the Andy Avalos presser. I believe a week from Wednesday, Johnny, is the first day of fall camp. Remember, you can now move fall camp up a couple days earlier, but you have to have more. You can have more off days in there. It's the same number of practices, but you're allowed to start a little earlier, so you can mix in a couple more off days to try to limit injuries and things potentially by not overworking them. So in years past, they would have started on Friday. Basically a little over 4 weeks before that first game. Now you can start on Wednesday, but they'll add 2 more practice days in there. So a week from today, we'll hear from Andy Avalos, the pre-camp press conference, and then a week from Wednesday is the start of fall camp. I want to hear from Jeff Tedford, some interesting comments on Taylen Green, but first, do want to remind folks about our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Check them out. Their concrete coatings, the one-day install, they're 5 times stronger than epoxy. They're just so impressive, and they change the look of your dirty, stained concrete or patio. So help support the title sponsor that makes this show possible. This is a free show you guys are watching right now on social media. Go support the sponsors, and we appreciate them, including our title sponsor at rowpaint.com. Lithia Ford of Boise, they got some great deals going on as usual. Their appraiser will make a cash offer for you on the spot for your used vehicle as well. You can view their full inventory of vehicles online. That's what the Raines family did. Went and looked online, found 2 trucks we liked, went in, test drove them both, looked at them, picked this blue F-150 you see on the screen, made the purchase, and we were on our way. So Lithia Ford of Boise, appreciate them. Check them out. View the full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, Johnny, episode 3 tomorrow night. Waiting to confirm the guest before I say it. Episode 4 of the Tyson Degenhardt Show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. We're working on some cool guests for that, so stay tuned until it's finalized. ICCU.com. More than 500,000 Idahoans have made the switch. You can as well at ICCU.com, and more details coming. Bam Jam coming up, Johnny. Tyson Degenhardt will be there passing out some autographed basketballs and things through his deal with ICCU. So check them out, ICCU.com. And, of course, the Blue and Orange Store. You need some new Boise State gear for football season, that UCF game. Head on into the Blue and Orange Store. Get your gear, theblueandorange.store.com. And we really appreciate their support. If you're not in the Boise area, $40 order gets you free shipping online at theblueandorange.store.com. And John Mallory, the folks at the Blue and Orange Store, such big supporters of Bronco Nation News that when I told them a couple weeks or a month ago that I was in negotiations or had the chance to hire Mike Prater, they upped their deal. So the Blue and Orange Store is largely responsible for Mike Prater joining the team at BNN. So we appreciate Travis Hawks, the Blue and Orange Store. They stepped up as one of our several sponsors did to make Mike Prater possible. And we appreciate the folks at the Blue and Orange Store. So let's hear from Jeff Tedford. Then I want to get your thoughts on this. Remember, Johnny, this was the second game that Taylen Green had since taking over as the starting lineup. The San Diego State game was the first game. They kind of toyed around with Sam Vidlak in that game as well. They handed the reins to Taylon Green. His second game against Fresno State, it went much better in that game because when they played him again in the conference championship game, Fresno State really shut him down. And we had a couple-minute conversation here from Media Days that I wanted to play Jeff Tedford on Taylon Green in Boise State.
Had to face Taylon Green his second game after taking over the reins, and then when you faced him again in the Mountain West Championship, I don't think anyone defended him better. What did you guys do to kind of stymie him a little bit?
Well, I don't remember exactly what we did. I just think we grew as a defense. We were so young, and then over time we just got better and better.
Yeah.
I think our coaches figured out what our players could do. I think our players figured out what our coaches were looking for, and they played really well together. And so I think we ended up being one of the top defenses in the conference, if not the country, like in the top 15, which helped us go on a 9-game winning streak and have the third longest winning streak in the country right now. I think a lot of that had to do with our defensive maturity. Yeah. And so I'm not necessarily sure it was about what we did with him, other than just as a defense as a whole, right? And how we played together and how, I thought we tackled much better throughout the season. It wasn't just Boise or them. It was, we just got a lot better through the season, through practice.
What do you think as an opposing coach of Taylon Green?
He's a talented young man. Yeah, he's very dangerous. When anybody that can use their legs like that and get out and go, it's always, they're tough to defend, because they can make huge plays with their legs. And, and he's got a really good group around him. It's not just him. They typically have great receivers, a great running back, and a very strong offensive line always, but somebody like that, as talented and as athletic as he is, you get him one-on-one in the open field, it's hard to tackle him one-on-one. He can make you miss. So you better be able to rally to the ball and get him on the ground, or he's just gonna keep moving the sticks with his legs.
You guys excited to have them come into your place this year?
Yeah, I was thinking the other day, maybe Andrew, you might know this question, or whomever, or Robert, but I was thinking of my time as a coach at Fresno. I can only remember playing them one time at home, and I think that was in 17.
Senior day, yeah.
Right. That's the only time I remember. Now, I played it there when Kalen was there, but when I was a coach there, I can only remember them in Bulldog Stadium once. And it seems like we played them twice a year at Boise. Right? I mean, I have their locker room memorized. I got my little thing over there in their laundry room. I know exactly where my chair is. I mean, we've been there so much, I can't believe, it'd be nice to get him at our place.
How do you like getting rid of the division so that happens more frequently?
I'm excited to see how it all works out. I think anytime something changes like that, there's always little nuances that you can't possibly think of every little thing, right? And so I'm excited to see how it all plays out. It's something different, obviously, and so I think it's an exciting situation to try it.
I have one more Boise question. I mean, you guys have obviously won a couple of the championships there, and played, be one of the few teams that's had some success there. Their home record isn't quite what it used to be, and they've lost some games at home the last couple of years. Do you notice anything differently about the fear factor being gone for opponents or anything going up there to play?
No, I still think it's one of the most difficult places to play. I think their fans are very educated. It's very loud, very hostile environment. Then all of a sudden you throw in some cold weather and some snow, and typically when we're playing the championship game, we've played in the snow or whatever it may be, so the elements all of a sudden become different than what you're used to. But the noise there is one of the best stadiums we've been in, right? I mean, as far as hostile environments, you have to be prepared, or you can jump off sides five, 6, 7 times in a game, and now all of a sudden you're behind the sticks, and it makes it very difficult, to make first downs, because they're a great defensive football team. I think they're probably the number 1 defense in our conference, right? So they're an excellent football team, and it is hard to win there. It's very difficult to win there. We've been fortunate to win 2 championship games there, but it's always a battle.
Well, there he is, Jeff Tedford, Johnny. I'm not sure what Boise State fans think of Jeff Tedford when it comes, but they've won twice, as I said, 2018 and then last year, 2022, 2 championship games they've won on the blue. Boise State won the regular season game both times, and they came back to Boise again and won it. And I don't think it would shock us, Johnny, if those are the two teams that meet in the championship again this year. But as we said, that will be one of the tougher games, I think, on Boise State's schedule this year. They have to go to Fresno for a late night game, I believe, 8:30 at night, Mountain Time game in early November, I believe it is. So just your thoughts on Jeff Tedford and what he had to say about Boise State and that rivalry there.
I like Jeff Tedford. I think he's probably not as mentioned as much as he should be throughout college football for what he's been able to do during his career. And what a benefit for Fresno. You lose Kalen DeBoer and you get Tedford back, right? He just needed that year to recharge, take care of whatever he needed to take care of. And now he's back, and in his first year back, I believe he said at that scrum, I was sitting there too. I think Fresno became the first team in college football history last year to win a conference after starting a season 1-4. It was something along those lines. So they're really proud of what they did last year, as they should be. They lost a couple pieces with coaching, and Jeff Tedford said, look at my staff. It got completely rated last year. Remember when he said that too, talking about Coach Montgomery, the Boise State running back coach. He left Fresno for Boise State. Kirby Moore, the offensive coordinator, he left. He's now at Missouri. So Jeff Tedford saying, hey, our coaches are getting rated. That's also the sign of a good program. Boise State fan knows that all too well. Their coaching staffs have been rated throughout the last 20 years as well. So Fresno, to me, it's Boise State and Fresno State. Those, to me, are the two high-level elite programs in this conference. Football only. Forget TV markets and budgets and NIL and whatever else maybe Fresno doesn't exactly bring to the table that would say, hey, that team needs to be in a Power 5. But program for program, I mean, they might have a down year here or there, but typically Fresno is in the mix just about every year. And these two programs have been going at it really since 2001, the David Carr game in Fresno.
The game.
And Fresno State has hated Boise since then. Boise State has learned to hate Fresno, the old Pat Hill days of Fresno, those quarterbacks they've had with the Cars, Paul Pinniger, I can go on and on and on. They've had some good teams down there. They've won big games, and they're kind of the only other program that can say, hey, look at us here. I feel like there's this resentment that not just programs have, but I've sensed it in the media too when I go to these events, that it feels like everybody else is just sick and tired of Boise State this and Boise State that. And Fresno, more so than anybody, and rightfully so, in my opinion, needs to say, whoa, slow it. Look at us too. I was talking to a member of the media at lunch there at the media days, and he works in Fresno, and he was kind of saying that, like, Fresno's the defending champion. They're the ones that went to the Blue twice and have won conference championships. They've won more championships recently in this league than Boise State. Boise State needs to go back to say, well, we won these championships. That's a ways back. And Fresno's like, dude, what have you done for me lately? Right now, we're the tip-top program, and we're still going to be fine. I know we lost players, but we'll be back. For the media member that I was talking to, though, in Fresno, he was saying that he thought that Taylon Green needs to improve greatly as a passer. I know we talked about Taylon Green there a little bit too. He was basically saying Taylon Green can't throw. And if you cage him up and you bottle him up, you can beat Taylon Green. The kid can't throw. And I was like, well, he completed 61% of his passes. People are looking at him like he doesn't, and he does. So, I mean, this just feels like there's some resentment there, even like Taylon Green getting all this attention. And, maybe you could look at Jeff Tedford and read in there a little bit as he's got the two Boise media schmohawks, you and Jordan Kay, sitting there asking him all these Taylon Green questions. You can kind of see in his face, he's kind of probably like, okay, you're not asking me about my quarterback, Mikey Keene, who came over from UCF that they're really excited about, who might not even be the starter. I know they got a nice little battle going on in the Valley there. But for me, again, it's Boise State, Fresno State. Those are the two cream of the crop when it comes to this conference. And hell yeah, Bulldog Stadium this year, that is a game absolutely that Bronco Nation cannot and will not look past.
I mean, you look at the last 5 years, Fresno State's got 2 Mountain West championships. Boise State has 1. And both of those wins came. So in the last 5 years, facts are facts. Fresno State has won more Mountain West championships on, and on the blue turf than Boise State has. So I know Boise State is certainly wanting to change that. But yeah, we appreciate Jeff Tedford taking the time. And he talked for over an hour. There was plenty of talk about his quarterback. So get out of here.
90 minutes for all those guys. It's kind of cool. If people don't know this, in media days, the coaches take turns and they go into that room and there's like 4 or 5 tables set up, 4 coaches at a time. And they're supposed to make them sit there for 90 minutes, whether one person goes and talks to them or 30 people go and talk to them. The coaches just have to sit there and they are available and you can talk to them about anything. It's kind of a cool setup how they have that. So yeah, Jeff Tedford was there 90 minutes. I didn't see much of a slow time period there. Felt like there were people there constantly wanting to talk with Coach Tedford. I had an Aaron Rodgers question for him, but I didn't ask it. Because it just felt like, probably not the time nor the place. Of course, Jeff Tedford was the head coach of Cal when Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. He recruited him, he developed him, and they still remain close. But, I wasn't going to throw that Tedford's way.
Hey, if you're looking to improve your eating, how about Lean Feast? Check them out, leanfeast.com/Meridian. Healthy eating, meal prep service. You can get, 5-6 meals at once or just go in there and have lunch, and they'll heat it up for you right away. 2 minutes in the microwave, and you're eating more than 10,000 combinations of steak, chicken, shrimp, salmon, turkey, you name it, with the various sides. They're feeding the basketball team. They're feeding Talon Green, Tyson Degenhart. Go support Lean Feast, and you can do it online, leanfeast.com/Meridian. Ridley's Family Markets, 13 locations in the state of Idaho. Check them out as well. ShopRidleys.com. Download their new app and get exclusive savings. And again, find a location near you at ShopRidleys.com. You need business insurance? How about United Commercial Insurance? They can write business policies in 44 states around the country. 229-8222. Such an easy process. We're happy clients of United Commercial Insurance, so check them out online. Again, quick call, quick visit to their website could save you hundreds of dollars at UnitedCommercialInsurance.com. BoiseDentistryCo.com. I've actually got to change my appointment because I'm going to be out of town in Canada next week. BoiseDentistryCo.com. There's locations across the Treasure Valley. Happy that they are the Rains family dentist, and they do a great job, so check them out. And again, 906-1255. Full family dentistry. They make it an enjoyable experience to go to the dentist. BoiseDentistryCo.com. And if you need a job, how about transportation compliance service to help you get into the trucking industry? It's coming off the pandemic. It's still a booming industry right now, and they can help you with all the DOT, overweight permits, all the things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. And I'm talking the big rig on your screen, the Amazon truck in your neighborhood, any kind of delivery service. Let them help you out. If you try to do it yourself, over 80% of folks go out of business. TransCompService.com. Johnny, as I said earlier in the final couple of minutes we got here, would have been more time, but you went on a long spiel about Fresno State there a couple of minutes ago, so I may keep you a minute extra. But we're going to Canada. We're done talking about Fresno State. The basketball team is going to Canada next week, and Bronco Nation News will be there. I leave on Sunday. Full coverage Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You have 3 games. They'll play next Monday. Again, a week from tonight, they play Trinity Western in Vancouver. The next night, they'll play the University of the Fraser Valley, which, by the way, Johnny, staying downtown, my understanding is these schools are like over an hour and a half outside of Vancouver. So it's going to not the easiest travel for the Broncos to get out to these games and get back to the hotel. They'll then make the 4-hour drive to Kamloops to play Thompson Rivers College on the 3rd. But 3 games in Canada. You got the newcomers, Omar Stanley, Cam Martin, Roddy Anderson, obviously Andrew Meadow, the freshman. What are you, when you watch the Bronco Nation News post-game show and you're watching the highlights next week, what are you going to be looking for?
Obviously, we want to see those guys in a uniform for the first time here in Boise, BJ, for Boise State. But I want to see R.J. Keene. Here's a guy, I feel like he's been here 7 years, and I've never seen him play. You have kind of led this R.J. Keene hype train. You've compared him to Justinian Jessup, only he's a better shooter than Justinian. And I think you've said that, BJ. And
I was told by a member of the coaching staff that he, at the time, about a year and a half ago, he was a more athletic, right-handed Justinian Jessup.
I love to hear that. I want to see R.J. Keene play. I want to see all these guys go. And these tournaments or these things are weird because Leon and his staff, what are they going to do with the minutes? is Tyson Degenhart going to play 13 minutes a game in this thing and maybe even less, maybe a little more? So that, as far as the games go, I imagine Boise State's going to win by, 70 points a game against these programs here in Canada. But it's not about that. It's just about being able to adjust and be together and go through everything as far as travel goes and bond, team unity, that type of stuff. So these things are great. I'm glad you're going up there, because otherwise this would just fall on deaf ears. These things, nobody follows these tournaments. I mean, you got to follow Jeff Goodman on Twitter to find anything. But BJ Rains, Bronco Nation News, dude, you guys are going to be up there. You're following this. You'll show some highlights of these games. You'll have post-game interviews. You'll get Leon on. And I'm really excited to see what this is going to be about, because, hey, it's crazy. If you don't know, you better ask someone, because Boise State basketball is registering in this town more so than I can ever remember. And even the old school folks, they go back to the old Big Sky days with Bobby Dye in there in the late 80s, early 90s. It feels to me like maybe this is somewhat similar to that. And I think season tickets will be through the roof. People will be excited. The expectation has now changed. I mean, this is a team that, hey, on a good year, they're going to go to the tournament. On a bad year, they won't. It's not going to be as glitzy and glamorous for them going to the tournament. It's more like it's expected, especially with this team. Can I say it? What is it? It's the super team, right? It is the super team. Leon's told us that. We've had a lot of fun with it. Now we get to see the super team in action, and you're going to be there, my friend.
Well, thanks in part to Atkinson's Mirror and Glass, fourth-generation family business helping Idahoans build equity into their home since 1951. For all your glass needs, you can check them out, atkinsonsmirrorandglass.com. Give them a call, 208-375-3762. Atkinson's Mirror and Glass, a proud sponsor of Boise State Athletics and the Horseshoe Collective. And, of course, our friend Brian King also making this possible, RBC Wealth Management. They prioritize the best interest of the clients and hold themselves accountable to accomplishing what is right for you. Their team brings a world-class level of financial experience, knowledge, and resources to clients in our community and across the region. They've got Nick Duncan working for them as well there with Brian King, so we appreciate them. And then, of course, our friend Matt Boucher as well, Johnny. These three sponsors stepped up, paid for this trip. They're making it possible, so thanks to Matt Boucher. He puts his money where his mouth is when it comes to Boise State, so check him out, BoucherRealEstate.com. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. The number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley yet again, Matt Boucher and Boucher Real Estate. So we'll be telling you more basketball talk as we move forward here this week. We'll have Jay Tust again back tomorrow, Jordan Kay on Wednesday, and then Mike Prater on Thursday. So a lot to come here as we get set for the Canada trip. I think Leon Rice will do some media later this week as well, so we'll stay tuned for that. But should be a fun week getting ready for that. And then, looking forward to seeing Cam Martin, Omar Stanley, all these guys in action and kind of get our first glimpse of what this team might look like. So we'll have full pregame, full postgame shows as if this were a regular season game, live interviews on the postgame show. We'll show you highlights. We'll post some other clips to social media. So going to be a lot of fun next week. Johnny, thanks again for last week. Thanks for getting up early on Friday and doing the show from the sportsbook there. Appreciate you and our partnership with KTIK, and really enjoyed having you and Mike Prater on the shows and simulcasting and doing all that stuff last week. I thought we kicked ass down at Media Days, and really appreciate what you and Bob and JP and Prater and everybody did to help out with our coverage. I thought BNN and KTIK killed it. So thank you for your time, and thank you to everybody for checking out the show. If we didn't get to your comments, we apologize. We're already over the list here, or the time, and I don't want to get in trouble from JP. So we'll talk to you tomorrow. Jay Tuss is back at 9 a.m. If any news breaks, obviously we'll have it. The basketball scheduling news is hopefully coming real soon. It's been agreed to by both teams. The venue is still on the hook. And Johnny, I told you who it was. Is it going to live up to the hype for fans, you think?
Yeah. This is a big opponent. It is. That's even for me to say. You guys are going to like this opponent. It's juicy, BJ. Thanks, Uncle BJ.
Stay tuned. Have a great day, guys. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.